Oilers while a speedster sits. The Western Conference Final returns to Edmonton. We get you set for Game 3 between the Oilers and the Stars on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pregame show live on Edmonton Sports Talk on location. Hudson's White Avenue. Patios both open. Patios slowly starting to fill up after this Monday workday. It's going to be great here. It's already good. A ton of tables reserved. Come on down. Cal in the park and Sarah are going to be here. They have their table reserved right next door. And then beside me on the other side, Jason Leduc already here. Fantastic to see him. Long time no see with Jason and Leduc. And it's going to be a great evening. And then if the Oilers can make it even better with a win, I'm sure Oil Country will be very, very happy. Of course, GCL Diesel, presenting sponsor of the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show, Edmonton's diesel fuel system specialists and providers of critical engine components for over 50 years. Gazzola on location. YouTube Trev holding things down back at EST Global HQ. Matty Cassian will be joining us shortly. Also joining us today to talk Dallas Stars will be the play-by-play voice of the Dallas Stars, Josh Bogarad, who we have had on the show earlier this year. And then, of course, at the old shop, we had Josh on. So appreciate him stopping by. He will be joining us in about 10 minutes time. Of course, you can text us and get in on the conversation, 780-218-9999. There's Connor, the manager, looking good. He's business mode, laughing. All right. And then, of course, if you're watching, you can get into the nasty chat. We're going to keep an eye out for Canucks fans, trolls in general. It's been funny and annoying, and the timeout button has been getting a healthy workout of late. Has it not, Trev?
I would, yes, I would definitely say
there
that.
You are.
That's fair, Tommy. And you know what? I don't mind it. I'll watch. I'm very good for it. I'll let a few comments go, but if there's been a few. I'm like, hey, enough's enough. And honestly, I have no problem doing it. I find it fun. So don't be silly. Let's have fun in the nasty chat. I know it's funny because it is called the nasty chat, but don't be nasty to one another.
It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it has been literal at times where it has gotten nasty. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun this postseason. And you know what's great, too, or kind of stupid at the same time, is Canucks fans still getting in here, right? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, the same Canucks fans that called series after the Game 5 win,
right?
Just being ruthless. So many things. Yeah, ruthless. They were saying Oilers or Canucks in 6. The Oilers suck. The Oilers this. The Oilers that. And here we are. We're still talking about the Oilers in their playoffs. So it's nice. It's very nice. It's satisfying. I think they're salty, and I actually love it. So but I'll be on my eye to put them in jail because enough's enough, Tommy.
Somebody get this man a badge. Where's that badge? The Wyatt Earp one that does. Yeah, I know he left it on the studio desk there. Okay, 780-218-9999. Let's get to the question of the night. Be ready, Trev. Unless you go get that badge. Go get it. Go get it. Yeah, he's going to go get it. Question of the night. I want to hear from you. Text us 780-218-9999 and then get into the nasty chat. Question of the night is this. With Adam Henrique in and Ryan McLeod out, are there any other lineup changes you would have wanted to see Chris Noblock make? Let us know your thoughts. Question of the night one more time. Here it is. With Adam Henrique in and Ryan McLeod out, are there any other lineup changes you would have wanted to see Chris Noblock make? Let us know. Nasty chat, do your thing. And then, of course, the text line, 780-218-9999. Trev, did you catch it as you were getting your badge? Oh, the sheriff's in town. Here we go. Or is that U.S. Marshal?
Yep. Marshall. I'm the Marshal. So you best be on your best behavior. But yes, I did get the question there, Tommy.
Go for it.
I personally look, they've been playing. The guys have been playing really good, Tommy. I don't think you want to mess with the lineup too much. I think one player at a time. You start bringing out the blender. Who knows? Because then you know what, like, you're like, oh, was it this player that we brought in that kind of destroyed the chemistry? Was it this player? So I think you got to take it one player at a time. I love the fact that Henrique's obviously good enough to play tonight, so you're obviously going to bring him in. But maybe one player at a time. I think that's what I'm sticking with, Tommy. We'll be able to see a lot. I wasn't really too keen on Derek Ryan's last game, so he's the player I'm going to be keeping an eye on tonight, whether or not, and I think the coaching staff will be as well, because he hasn't provided a whole lot this playoffs, in my opinion, personally, Tommy. Just looking at it, 1 assist. So, yeah, and if there was a player that I'd bring in for Derek Ryan, I think it's got to be Sam Gagner. He's kind of a carbon copy of Derek Ryan, but he's got a little bit more experience. I think he provides
he's
a little
too.
He is bigger, and he provides a little bit more offense as well. He's a right shot as well. He's been here. He's done that. And he's going to have 20,000 people cheering him on. I can't say that Derek Ryan's getting the same treatment from the fans, maybe. So that's probably the player that I'd bring in. I know Dusty and LT this morning, we were kind of talking about Corey Perry if he comes in again. But
right.
I think you got to go with one player at a time. You don't want to mix up too much.
Well, I mean, they had just rattled off 3 straight wins. They lose the other night in game 2, 3-1 with the empty netter, of course, a tight game. And then you're alluding to Derek Ryan. He made the mistake on the wall where he was hesitating, didn't know if he was going to bank it or chip it out, gets knocked over, and then a pass over to the point. The shot goes, and then Mason Marchment with the tip. Really nice redirection. Big boys in front. Him and Vinny Desharnais, I think, were locked up in front of Stu Skinner. And then, I mean, he's tipping it over here on his left, and then the puck bounces off his stick, and it goes back the other way and over the shoulder of Stu Skinner. So great tip, credit where credit was due, and then the inability for Ryan to get the puck out on the wall. But for the most part, he gives you everything he's got. He busts his butt, uses as much of his body as he can, obviously. And I even said it out loud the other day. I'm like, do you pin him and punish him for making that mistake and take him out of the lineup? And the answer, obviously, from Chris Noblock is no, because Derek Ryan is back in action tonight. So without further ado, we will get to the lineup, and then I'll throw the question of the night out there one more time, 780-218-9999 with Adam Henrique in and Ryan McLeod out. Are there any other lineup changes you would have wanted to see Chris Noblock make? Here's what the Oilers are anticipated to roll out tonight. Connor McDavid between Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Leon Draisaitl with Dylan Holloway and Evander Kane on his flanks. There is Adam Henrique on the third line with Warren Foegele and Derek Ryan on his wings. And then Sam Carrick, Matthias Janmark, and Connor Brown. That line got the team's only goal the other night in Dallas. It stays in tact. On defense, no changes expected. Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Desharnais, Kulak with CC. Kulak had a better game, a bit of a tough one in game 1. So out McLeod, out Perry, out Stetcher, out Gagner, even though YouTube Trev tugging on the heartstrings with Sam Gagner. I feel like a lot of Oilers fans are in the same boat as YouTube Trev. Okay, let's go to the Stars. Bit interesting. This is what we saw the other night. It was Wyatt Johnston with Jason Robertson and Logan Stankoven, Matt Duchene between Mason Marchment and Joe Pavelski, Tyler Seguin with Evgeny Dodonov and Jamie Benn, and then Sam Steele with Radek Faksa and Craig Smith. However, Pete DeBoer did rule Rope Hintz to be a game-time decision. And I was talking to Jackie Redmond on the Rink Report earlier, and if you didn't catch it, please do check it out. She was great. We talked a little bit of WWE as well, and then I saw that, what's her name, Nia Jax actually retweeted the Rink Report, which is great. She is a WWE superstar, and I just said, I don't like that Jackie's getting bullied by Nia Jax, or Nia Jax, I should say. And so she was wondering if Jackie was talking some ish, as she called it on X, which was hilarious. So, all right, Rope hits. If he gets back in, and Jackie thinks he will, obviously we'll see a lineup tinkering from Pete DeBoer. Yanni Hakanpää doesn't expect to be in the lineup tonight. Again, lower body, Ty Dellandrea and Nils Lundqvist could be the other scratches. In goal tonight for the Oilers, no surprise, 25-year-old Stuart Skinner, 8-4 this postseason, 265 goals against average, 890 save percentage with the 1 shutout in 12 games in the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs. And then lifetime, Skinner has a 13-10 record, 313 goals against average, 887 save percentage, 1 shutout, in 24 playoff games in his career. And at the other end of the rink, it will be 25-year-old Jake Ottinger, 9-6 this postseason, 204 goals against average, 922 save percentage in 15 playoff games. Lifetime Ottinger, a 22-19 record with a 241 GAA, 919 save percentage, 2 shutouts in 43 career games in the playoffs. 780-218-9999. We want to hear from you. Josh Bogarad coming up next, the play-by-play voice of the Dallas Stars. And, of course, Matt Cassian joining us at about 5:35 or so to give us game changers. Let's go to the text line. Maple Jed says, good gourd, TG. 6 more pieces left to hand. Engravings before game time. My mind is racing and hands are shaking. Talk me down, TG. Talk me down. Maple Jed, they've been playing good. These are tight games. I think we're going to see more of that, although offensive firepower on both sides. So maybe one team pops. How does the other respond? Both goalies playing really well. It's going to be like this the rest of the way. These are great games, highly entertaining. I know people's nerves are frayed. This is playoff hockey, and these are two teams. I think it's a toss-up still. I think we're going to be in for a long series still. But there are some people, after Dallas won game 2, they're like, Stars can rattle off 4 straight. No big deal. I don't buy it for a second. Maybe that's why Maple Jed is a bit nervous. Jeff from GP says, let's go Oilers. I agree with YTT. He likes Sam Gagner getting in to some playoff action. Safety Bob chiming in says, keys to the game, win the puck battles, 5 feet inside the blue line. Pucks on the net from everywhere. Crash the net. Going to need some Smitty-type goals. LG says Safety Bob. LFG indeed. And Safety Bob, I like that. The puck battles thing, that was an issue. Puck races were also an issue, especially in the latter half of the game. Excuse me. And then the greasy goals, there's a lot of shots and lanes that were passed up. And so we'll see if the Oilers simplify tonight and get some of those greasy type goals right in Zach Hyman's wheelhouse for sure. Scalding Gourd chiming in and says, any further hints on if Rope will be available? Well, that's great because we'll ask Josh Bogarad about that shortly. YouTube Trev working on getting him on the line as we get you set for game number 3 between the Oilers and the Stars. All right, let's see what's going on in the nasty chat. Jenna says, Knobs must have been listening to Rolling Stones today. Hey, you, get off of McLeod. Nicely done. I like that, Jenna. Let's see what else. Jaden says, ultimately, this is McDavid's time. He's best player in the world. It's not who plays on bottom 6. McDavid can score 3 goals by himself when he's at his best. This is the year. Trev, Josh says he's trying to call to connect. Are you getting a hold of him? Can you chime in there, Trev? His line's busy. Okay, one more minute. I will let Josh Bogarad know. We'll try that again. Let's go back into the inbox, 780-218-9999. Sticky Dave says, who are these crazy people that think that the Stars are going to sweep the next 3 games? They're out of their minds. Okay, Trev, you know what we're going to do? Are you there? No.
Josh is ready. Sorry, I was just on the phone.
Oh, he's ready. Okay, I was going to say we could throw to some clips, but if Josh is good to go, then we'll get into it.
Yeah, sounds good. He's ready. Let's bring him on.
All right, play-by-play man Josh Bogarad for the Dallas Stars joining us now, getting us set for game number 3 between the Oilers and the Stars. Josh, we had a text come in. It was clever, and I want to fire it your way. It's from Scalding Gourd, who says, any further hints on if Rope will be available? What do you got, Josh?
Look at that. Points for creativity for sure. But yeah, I would say that the game time decision this time of the year means game time decision, right? That's kind of where we are, but we should find out here within an hour or so, maybe less than that, and we'll see what it is. I think Pete was pretty non-informative in either of the 2 pregame visits that he had, but at the same time, what he did say was for sure that he was likely going to play in games 3 or 4. So he's trending towards being close. Maybe tonight, if not, definitely on this trip is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Listen, we know how dangerous Rope Hintz is, Josh. We know what he's done to the Oilers. I think vividly of the times where he finds a seam up the middle of the ice through Oilers defenders, slicing through them like a hot knife in butter. And that's what he could bring to the table. And obviously the Stars would like to have that in tow. But what kind of effect does he have on his line mates? And I know a lot of talk has been around Jason Robertson as well. What kind of impact does Hintz have on a guy like Robertson?
Well, they feed off each other because they're two, top players. And I think any two top players are pretty much going to do that. Hintz is a guy who makes those around him better. And so when he's in the lineup, anybody that's playing on either side of him gets that benefit. And for a few years running, we've seen a line intact of Robertson with Hintz and Pavelski. And so that was what they were kind of used to. And then that got broken up a bit. And then with the way that the teams kind of just spread out their depth, we've seen different combinations. So you don't necessarily get the same looks that you've gotten in recent years, yet at the same time, you are getting similar results. And that's the luxury of having a bunch of different guys that you feel can be in a top 6, a top 9, whatever combination it is a combination you're happy with. And if Hintz is in tonight, or if he's in 2 nights from now, whoever he's playing with, they're going to get a boost. And if that is Robertson, then he'll be that guy that gets that boost.
Josh Bogarad joining us now, play-by-play voice of the Dallas Stars. Talk Gazzola live on location, Hudson's White Avenue patio starting to fill up. The doors are open. VR Montenegro just strolled in listening to EST on either iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or our Edmonton Sports Talk audio player, and he came in holding a 6 o'clocker lager. Josh, it is our beer, the 6 o'clocker lager, and one of our fine listeners, Nasty as we like to call it, was just strolling down the avenue crushing a beer. So none the wiser are the law enforcement agents that are walking around the town. I think that's hilarious. I'm painting the picture here.
Are you going to send some of that up to our booth? Is that like the Edmonton hospitality that we get?
I can do that. Would you like that? We also have a golf drink called Birdie Booze that is also available here at Hudson's. We just launched that a couple of weeks ago. So if you feel thirsty and want to tap into it, we can make that happen for you, Josh, if you're so inclined.
We're here for a few days. I'm going to have to figure that out for sure.
We can make that happen. Okay, on the ice, before anybody has a delicious, delicious lager, games must be played. And there's been 2 of them in this series so far. Very tight games. Obviously, the double OT, Edmonton win in game 1, and then the goal by Mason Marchment, which was the separation the Stars needed. Obviously, they get the empty netter as well. Are you surprised by the tight checking in this series, the low scoring, despite the amount of offensive firepower both teams possesses? What has stood out to you in this series so far, Josh?
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit just because of how low scoring it's been and because of how many different headline names there are in the series. But I also think, it's a testament to how good the teams are defensively. And I know that Edmonton's been very impressive on that front. The Stars are a good rush team. We know that the Oilers are a good rush team, and you haven't seen a lot of that. It's not wide open flying hockey. Dallas did a wonderful job in the first 2 rounds of really limiting for the majority high flying offenses in Vegas when they're fully equipped, and then Colorado with some of those players. So they've proven that they can do it at both ends of the ice. But the Stars aren't a team that need to win a 2-1 game to keep it low scoring. Throughout the year, we could see them. Pete was really funny about that when we would talk to him throughout the year. He'd say, we don't want to win games 2-1. We want to win games 5-1. And so that's kind of the mindset that they don't need to sacrifice their offense to be good defensively because they feel they can be good at both ends, and they don't have to sacrifice, their defense to be offensive. So they feel like they're a well-rounded team that can handle both ends of the ice. But I think what you're seeing is Edmonton is kind of doing the exact same thing. And so as good as the names are, as high-flying as these teams can be, and we know that both can be, it's a really good 2-game testament to the other end of the ice and how strong they can be defensively. And then, of course, the last line of that defense is the goaltending, which I think has been outstanding through 2 games. And, I'm not a knock on Skinner at all, but I know that especially after how things went and getting sat for 2 in the Vancouver series, he entered the conference final with a lot of question marks. And I think he's provided a lot of answers through 2 games. And he's looked outstanding, and Ottinger has looked outstanding for his part. So I don't know. Look, we're talking about this here, and I also wouldn't be surprised if you see the offense kind of open up and it gets blown up a little bit more here in Game 3. I think that this could just go either way. It could be offensive. It could be defensive. Both teams have proven that they can be comfortable in whatever game comes, and I think that's what we'll see as long as this series takes us.
Josh, and it's a sigh of relief, obviously, for Oilers fans to see Skinner playing good. I think we all expected Ottinger to be on top of his game, and he has been. Great save on Matthias Ekholm. I think it was off the shaft of his stick. Ekholm talked about it multiple times, and he's like, I almost had one there, but he made a great save. So credit where credit is due. Team-wise, though, if I suggested to you that Dallas was better overall in Game 2, maybe sharper out of the gates, just seemed to be more like they had, gotten rid of the cobwebs a little bit after having the 6 days between games. Do you think that's an accurate assessment, or do you see it a little bit differently?
Definitely not in the first period. That was pretty one-sided in Edmonton's favor in the opening 20 minutes of Game 2, and that was a whole lot of Jake Ottinger to weather that storm and keep Dallas in it. From the 40 minutes on, yeah, I think that's an accurate assessment. I think Dallas has gotten better as the game has gone on in each of the first 2 games. But I think that that's more the type of game, and especially defensively, that they want to play. The fact that you're in a 1-goal game, and the fact that you're kind of protecting the narrowest of leads against the team that has the firepower that Edmonton has, and to block those shots and to give up 5 shots on goal in the third period and really never truly allow Edmonton to threaten, that's when you know Dallas is clicking. That from at least the red line in on their zone, that they're firing exactly how they want to. Offensively, I still think there's another gear. But yeah, I think that for the final 40 minutes, that's an accurate assessment. But without an excellent opening 20 from Ottinger, I don't even know that you're in a position to say that about the final 40 minutes. So you're looking for a quicker start, to be sure here. It's kind of been 2 sleepy first periods, one in Game 1 for both sides, and then in Game 2, more on the Stars side than on the Oilers.
Yeah, that's a good reminder, Josh, about Game 2 and that first 20 minutes. If you're looking at it from an Oilers standpoint, good. If you're looking at it from a Stars standpoint, you wanted more, and then you got more the rest of the way through. Yeah. Josh Bogarad with us. Stars play-by-play man, as we get you set for Game 3 between the Oilers and the Stars. Jani Hakanpää, I know the Stars have a solid D. They've got veterans. They've got Heiskanen leading the way. They picked up Tanev. I was talking about, Alex Petrovich, who grew up here, and he's like family friend, and happy to see him back in the NHL. But is there anything on the defensive front where health might be improving? Have you heard anything in regard to that? And what can you say about Petch coming in and providing a little stability, albeit in limited minutes?
Yeah, no, there's no movement on the back end. And again, it's been a while now that Hakanpää's been out, which is unfortunate because he's a big body, 6'7", and can kind of play that physical brand of hockey that at this time of the year is so valuable. He's a huge penalty killer. The fact that Dallas got Chris Tanev at the deadline, it's really kind of taken some of that, because it was always Lindell and Hakanpää who were killing penalties, and that's where Tanev lives, right? So that's been nice, but it still has been a loss. However, to your point, Petrovic has been outstanding. For him to come in and for him to really get dropped into the deep end. He played 1 game for Dallas during the regular season, and that was his only NHL game in the last 5 years. And that was when, some circumstances forced the Stars to play short. It was a random Monday afternoon game in Boston. He gets parachuted in, and then that's it. And then all of a sudden, at the biggest time of the year against the toughest competition, he gets thrown into the lineup, and it's like, okay, here you go. Welcome to the playoffs, and welcome to the high-flying Colorado Avalanche, followed by Edmonton Oilers, to deal with it. And I think he's been terrific. He gets dropped in. It's a double overtime clinching scenario game at altitude in Denver. It's like, all right, Well, welcome back to the NHL. Second NHL game of any kind in 5 years. First Stanley Cup playoff game in 8 years. And you'd never know it from when he was out there, watching him out there in single overtime and double overtime and making like very reliable plays. It was exceptional to see and needed, because the Stars had basically rolled 5 defensemen up to that point in the playoffs. And so as those games got longer and longer and the stakes got bigger and bigger, those were some necessary minutes in mile high air. And he was tremendous. That is not an easy assignment to come, right out of the press box and not even on the radar into the lineup. And he did extremely well.
Hey, that's why you sign guys like that. Organizational depth, and good Northside boy, always up for it. So good on Petch for doing that. Okay, Josh, what are you expecting tonight between these two teams? Are we going to see goals, or do you think it's going to be more of the same from what we saw in Big D?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I could see it going either way. I don't think I'm going to be surprised either way. I think what you'll probably wind up seeing, though, is another tight game, because the first two could have gone either way. I think these are two really good teams. They're the last two teams in the West for a reason. So the route that they get there, I'm not exactly sure, but I wouldn't be surprised one bit if however many or however few goals there are, that they're either level or right there with one another, getting down to the tail end of regulation.
Josh, you are a gentleman and a scholar, and fantastic as always. Great to have you back on the pregame show. I look forward to seeing you in the press box tonight, my friend.
Buddy, I am neither, but I appreciate it, and always fun to come on and chat with you. So have a great rest of the show, and look forward to those pops down the road.
Oh, they're coming. Josh Bogarad, play-by-play voice of the Dallas Stars. Great stuff from him. Good insight into the Dallas side of things, and really appreciate it. He's awesome, doing a great job on the call, working with Daryl Ray. But this is an NHL on TNT broadcast, and Johnny Forsland is in town. He's got Eddie Olczyk with them, but Daryl Ray and Josh Bogarad, I think they're doing the radio side during the postseason, if I remember correctly. But usually the Stars TV play-by-play team, and it might be simulcast on the radio side, and they might be a digital station like us as well, talking with their PR team. So it's just the future. You don't go to Blockbuster to rent videos anymore, and if you do, that's weird. Okay. 780-218-9999. I need to add that portions of this hour brought to you by Edmonton's Best Rock 100.3 The Bear. Check out Dusty Nielsen every morning during the weekdays with Yukon and McCord, and then tune into Jess Jackson on your way home from work every afternoon on The Bear. It's been an absolute treat being on Jess's show, teeing up the games, breaking down what we saw the night before. We love those guys and girls over at The Bear. YouTube Trev, how we doing? Any good texts coming in? You seen anything good?
I actually have not been looking at the text line, Tommy. Just been
What
monitoring.
are you doing?
I've just been making sure everything's. You know what? This is a very high stressful job. I will say at times, and so I've got a lot on the go, Tommy. But yeah, I'm just making sure the nasty chat is going good, and it is. Everyone's in a great mood today, so that's yeah.
Love it.
You love to see it.
I love it. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that, as they like to say. We're live on location, Hudson's White Avenue, the GCL Diesel pregame show. And people are starting to trickle in. We got a couple of the nasties here, VR Montenegro and Jason and Ledoux, Cal in the Park and Sarah on their way. It's going to be a lot of fun. The sun is peeking out, and it's going to be great. You could tell that the vibe was building up downtown as I was leaving the EST Satellite Studios, and there's the sheriff or the marshal, doing his thing. Good to see, and it's going to be a lot of fun down at Ice District. It's going to be a lot of fun at whatever bar and restaurant and house party that you're at, because these games have been tense, they've been close, and the Oilers have put themselves in good positions, I would say, overall, to win these games, and they got one so far. We'll see if they can make it two with the home crowd behind them tonight. All right, Matty Cassian will be joining us shortly, but in the meantime, we're going to go inside the Oilers locker room, and as is tradition, we're going to hear from head coach Chris Noblock.
Do we think Henrique's in, and if so, who might be out?
Adam will be playing tonight. Ryan McLeod will be not.
So we all get how much you like Ryan's game, and he's a young player, and It's not easy to take a guy out. Do you see this as sort of the same reset you gave Stu Skinner? And I guess talk to us about taking a kid like that out of your lineup.
Absolutely, it's a reset. Clowder's going to be part of this team. Whether he comes in the next game or following, we're going to see him sooner than later. There's a lot to like about his game. A lot of it is from the penalty kill. He's been contributing a lot there with his quickness, his reads. 5-on-5 hasn't been playing quite like he had been, especially in the middle part of the season. In January, February was probably the top performance. I think it's important that he has just a little reset. We've got a lot of players that are playing well, and it's been difficult to take anybody out of the lineup, whether that's been Corey Perry, Connor Brown, Sam Carrick. We have depth. We've got a lot of good players that are healthy that can help us win, and right now he won't play tonight.
Center left, Ryan.
Just in terms of Henrique, waiting for him to be healthy enough to play, so what has that been like? Because I know he's been close, and maybe a decision has had to be made, for a game or two here. And maybe just a thought on you are losing some speed out of your lineup here, and it's been a pretty fast series, so I imagine you had to think a lot about that too.
Well, when Adam was available, felt that he was 100%, then we want him in the lineup. He's a very important player for us. He can kill penalties, he can be on the power play, and he's a really good 5-on-5 player. And there's games where we could have put him in. I would say he was very close, maybe not 100%, but I'm sure if it was the Stanley Cup Final Game 7, we would have had him in earlier than we are putting him tonight. But I think with his experience, his smarts, that he'll help us tonight.
Second row on the left.
Chris, is that the only lineup change tonight?
That is the only lineup change.
The matchup game for you, now you have a last change. We saw Dallas alter it a bit what they wanted in their matchups. Do you foresee, something where you will search for as we get deeper in the playoffs? You haven't really ever chased a matchup, but even for a few shifts, do you think now's the time? Do you hone in more on a matchup?
It all depends on the game or how the game's going. I think it's important for our guys that we have that flow. We have the four lines contributing, and we're not chasing a certain lineup. And there's certain situations, face-off location and possibly who they have out there, whether it's their forward line or the defensive line. But I don't think it's something that we're going to chase too much.
Third row on the right.
Chris, Dallas is 5-1 on the road in the playoffs. Are you seeing anything from them during their road games in the playoffs that's allowing them to be that successful? And do you see anything that you have to do to
All right, that was Chris Noblock speaking to the media. It was a good press conference today earlier. So he did say right out of the gate that no Ryan McLeod and that Adam Henrique is good to go, expecting to be on the third line at center. And we'll see what kind of impact a healthier Adam Henrique can have on the Oilers. And certainly, you would think he could bring more to the table than Ryan McLeod has in recent weeks. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Let's get to him. It is Matt Cassian. He is our game analyst, and he is ready to rock and roll as we tee up game number 3. There is Cass. What's up, Cass? How's your vibe for a Monday today?
It's a pretty good vibe, Tommy. Pretty good vibe. Woo. It's a beautiful day outside today. Had the grill going for the kiddos, a little chicken on the grill, and right. Tommy, it was a productive weekend, and just ready to roll here. Ready to roll tonight for the Edmonton Oilers.
All right, Cass, I want to throw this one at you before we dive into Game Changers. This has kind of been a thing that people have been talking about. I just want to get your opinion. I feel like I know where you're going to go on it, but just to hear it would be good. This place to you kind of reminding us says, guys, I'm still seeing a lot of anger over La Bamba being played in Dallas. I'm assuming it's who don't know the whole story, no, I was mad until I heard the explanation. And if you didn't see, the DJ for the Stars did not know the whole story behind the meaning of La Bamba, not only being the Oilers' goal song, but the memory of Joey Moss, and then certainly Ben Stelter as well. So, yeah, just your thoughts on how all of that went, because it seemed like people forgave him after that.
Yeah, well, it's a sincere apology. I never thought it was trying to troll the memory of two people who mean a lot to this city. It was never about that. It was trying to troll a win song, and even in the explanation, they do it to other teams. They always do it. So
they do.
I didn't take any big issue with it right off the start. Right when it happened, I was kind of like, oh, that's actually, I thought kind of funny. Yeah. And I don't think intentionally trying to disrespect that. Now, I apologize to people that got offended by it, and the intention wasn't to offend. It was to troll a win song of a team. Right. So, I mean, I just kind of, I don't want to say shrug and move on, but I kind of shrug and move on. Like, this isn't something that you should, I don't think, rile you up too much. You had someone that didn't know something, maybe was a little uninformed. Once they found it out, they apologized. So move on.
And Jess Jackson was saying that he also made a donation to the Ben Stelter Fund as well. So
yeah, so he wasn't trying to intentionally say anything about Joey Moss or Ben Stelter. Like, it just, it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah. He was doing what he always does and trying to troll a team's win song, which is funny, in my opinion. So nothing intentional. I don't think there's any real harm that came of it. Now, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, I kind of hope that they take it as a shot. Take it as a stab and use it. Yeah, bulletin board material, even though it probably shouldn't be. But
exactly.
Happy he apologized, and let's move on.
And if people are still complaining about it and that put off by it, like, relax, take a deep breath. Like,
there are more serious things that have been and will be said that should offend you than that.
Yes, good point. Yeah, well said. All right, Cass, displaced Yukoner, thank you for bringing that up. Just to clarify on that one, and Cass eloquently said. All right, let's go into Game Changers with Matt Cassian, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent, top producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian Remax realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. It's community driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Numero uno tonight, Cass. Henrique's return.
Back in the lineup. And the much chagrined Ryan McLeod comes out, as most of you have undoubtedly seen and undoubtedly heard about. Big news in oil country. Henrique is back. McLeod is out. Veteran guy going in, sending a little bit of a message. And Tom, how shocked were you that Chris Noblock didn't touch the fourth line, but adjusted the third with Adam Henrique stepping in?
Honestly, I was surprised because I didn't think that was what was going to happen. We talked about it post-game. We're like, I could see it should be McLeod, but it probably won't be. But he did it. He did. How much does it take to have like some big brass, to do something like that and not touch the fourth line like you mentioned? Yeah. No,
it does take some brass to do that. I mean, you're taking out a now veteran player, young player, but veteran player, not a nobody. That maybe hasn't been performing, has done, as we talked about, done some okay things defensively, hasn't been a massive liability defensively, but just hasn't been able to get anything going offensively. No production, not scoring goals, hasn't been a little bit more physical the last couple games, but it's not like he's been a physical dominating presence along the way. And he sits because of it, but that took some guts not to touch that fourth line. And, maybe we should not be surprised, and I was surprised, but maybe we shouldn't have been surprised because that fourth line has been really good. They've been good from an offensive zone time, puck possession time, goal share percentage. Like they've been playing well. Yeah. So Adam Henrique comes in. I really hope he's at 100% or close to, and Ryan McLeod comes out. You also don't touch the penalty killers in that instance. Yeah. Or some of your penalty kill pairings anyway. So yeah, it's an interesting move, Tom. We'll see if it pays off. If Adam Henrique comes out and struggles, could be some interesting feedback for Chris Noblock, to say the least.
Yeah. If it was a high ankle for Henrique, and if it's any solace, Dr. Tom says he's been moving really well in practice the last couple of days that I've seen him on the ice. So take that for what it's worth. And I say it tongue in cheek, obviously, but this also leads us into the question of the night. I'm going to put it out there for the viewers and listeners. If you didn't catch it earlier in the show, I want to get Cass's opinion on this, because we were talking about Henrique coming in, Ryan McLeod coming out. Question of the night is this: with Henrique in and McLeod out, are there any other lineup changes you would have wanted to see Chris Noblock make? 780-218-9999 or via the nasty chat if you're watching on our YouTube channel. Cass, what would you say to that one?
No, I don't think so. As a whole, I think your team has played pretty well the first 2 games. You didn't get the win last game, but you still did lots of good things. It was still a tight game. And yes, there were some mistakes, but it's not like you got dramatically outplayed for a long period of time. It's not like you gave up, 40 grade A scoring chances and got scored on, 10 times. Like it was overall still a pretty solid game. So I don't want to make big changes. Now, your third line, the Fogle, McLeod, Derek Ryan line has not had much success. They have not been generating offense. They've been giving up more than they've been getting. And so this is more a move to say, okay, we like most of what's going on here, but we're going to try a little tweak. We're going to get Henrique in and we're going to move forward with this. So I wouldn't change anything else. Joaquin Gage in net.
Joaquin Gage in net, great call. Like Joaquin Gage in his prime or Joaquin Gage right now?
No, right now, 100%.
Okay.
He's probably better now than he was in his prime.
Better with age, like a fine wine.
He'd wear the leather jacket underneath the equipment too.
Oh, then it's meant to be with that leather daddy look he likes to go with. All right, it is Game Changers with Matty Cassian. Number 1 was Henrique's return. We slipped in the question of the night. Did you want to see any other changes outside of Henrique in and McLeod out? Let us know. 780-218-9999. And then nasty chat, of course. And then number 2, Cass, on Game Changers, Rope a Dope.
Who knows if Rope will be in the lineup tonight? We probably will find out during and after warm-up. Be interesting to see if he skates at all. But just like Adam Henrique coming back, this could be a big boost and addition for the Dallas Stars. We've talked about him at length. They've been waiting and ready for him. And if he does play, the real interesting question will be what percentage, just like I posed the same question with Adam Henrique, what percentage is he going to be at? Is he going to be able to take face-offs? How much is he going to be able to battle in the corners? Because you have to remember, he's not a perimeter style player. He's not a perimeter centerman. He plays in the thick of it, plays in front of the net, plays hard in the corners defensively and offensively, battles in front of the net in the offensive zone, really plays all over the ice and plays quite hard and relatively physical. He's not like a physically dominant player, but he plays physical. He gets engaged. And specifically if it's a hand and the top hand, it's going to be interesting, how much battle can he take? Yeah. I don't think they feel any need at this point to throw him into the face-off circle to take draws, unless you have to, because Dallas is winning the face-off battle, I would say, and percentage-wise has been winning it slightly. So they're not maybe rushing to get him in there, but you're kind of looking at saying, okay, what percentage is he at? What is he actually going to be able to bring to the table if he is healthy and does go? But, huge swing. Huge swing, maybe that's too strong a word, but a big boost emotionally and even for the play of the Dallas Stars. They're a better team with him if he's in the lineup. And Tom, we don't know if he's going to be. It's a little bit murky still, but we will find out soon.
Rope a Dope. I like that one. Well played. What kind of impact? I asked Josh Bogarad about this. Jason Robertson, the goalless in 9 for Robertson. That's not like him. He's a superstar, elite player, an all-star, obviously. But is it as simple as being like, well, he doesn't have Rope hints?
Makes a difference. Mm-hmm. Right. It makes a difference. Zach Hyman, elite goal scorer this year. If he doesn't have Connor McDavid, probably not having the same type of impact. Right. And so, yes, Robertson's still an elite player without him, but he's much better with him in the lineup. So it does make a big impact.
Yeah, good point. All right, it's Game Changers brought to you by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite number 1, Henrique's return, number 2, Rope a Dope, number 3 with Matty Cassian. Feel the rhythm.
Feel the rhythm in the building.
Feel the rhythm.
The heartbeat of the building. It will be a rocking. If you have the glorious benefit of going to the game tonight, it's going to be, I hope, loud. And you are going to, it's one of those, like, you're going to feel your own heart beating. Like you're going to feel it in the chest a little bit. Like the nerves will be there for everybody, for all the fans, maybe some sweaty palms. When the pregame intro starts and that music hits and the video goes and the lights go dark, like there's going to be a lot of emotion there, and you want to feel it. You want to harness it. You want to use it. You want to feel alive with it if you're the Edmonton Oilers. And for the fans, give that to them. I mean, that is a benefit of being at home, especially in moments where maybe you feel uncertainty or the other team has some momentum. To have a crowd that pushes back, does it win a game or lose a game? No. But can it impact the game and impact people emotionally on the bench? Yes, absolutely. It can. It really can. So, hey, a loud, noisy building. I want to hear it tonight. Get behind the boys, Tom, so that they can feel the rhythm and just draw from that massive pool of energy.
Oh, I like it. Good energy, good feng shui in the building. Hey, when you played in the playoffs, when you were at home and it was rocking, I know you say you don't really hear a lot from the crowd, but is that one where it's a different circumstance and you do feel a bit of it? And then when you're on the opposition bench in another team's building and it is crazy, what kind of effect does that have on a team, and have you had to deal with before? How can you articulate that, Cass?
Yeah,
basically?
well, you don't, maybe I should clarify, Tom, you don't hear things as in, like, you don't hear guy in section 224 yelling, "Hey, Cassian, you suck." Like, you don't hear that. You don't hear the individual things, but there is a level of atmosphere that is palpable, that you can feel. And yes, you can kind of tune it out, and the noise kind of tunes down, like in the middle of the play when you're on the ice and when you're in it. But sitting on the bench, you can hear it. Sitting in a bench in a timeout, you can hear it or not hear anything because it's too loud. So it's again, like, when it's really loud, you can tell. And when you play somewhere where it's dead, you can tell. And then from an opposition side, if it's dead, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And we've seen it, and you will see it probably again and again in playoffs. Like, if a team is down, and not that long ago, there was a game where the Edmonton Oilers were up a couple goals, and then the other team scored at home. And all of a sudden, that building and that momentum, you could feel it. It's like it's thick in the air in those moments. And again, like, you don't hear the individual things, but in those type of moments, the building can feel the momentum, the players can feel the momentum, the coaches can feel the momentum, like the other team and players and coaches can feel, like, it is like thick. It's like you can breathe it in. So it absolutely does affect you. Again, it's not like the driving thing in a game, but it does have an impact, and you can feel it. I mean, if you're a player playing at home, you want your building to be loud. You want them to be crazy. You want them to be excited. You want them behind you, because it just helps pull that emotion out of you. And sometimes it just gives you a little bit extra, and it's a wonderful thing.
Game 1, round 2 is what Cass was alluding to, a raucous Rogers Arena in Vancouver. And yeah, that does. It's good to get that descriptor from you, because some people might be like, that's a pile of baloney, or that's garbage. There's no such thing. You played, you did it, you experienced it. So that's just a nice way to bring that up to people's attention. So yeah, well said, Cass. Hey, have you been watching the Eastern Conference Final at all?
Yeah, as much as I can. I didn't get to watch the entirety of the game yesterday. It was bits and pieces, but I've been trying to watch as much as I can.
Yeah, from what you've seen, like, what are you making of this series? Because it's interesting to see who Edmonton or Dallas might face in the Stanley Cup Final, and how that series is going. Barclay Goodrow is becoming the hero for the Rangers. Like, what are you seeing over there from what you've watched between New York and Florida? Yeah,
two teams that are beating the snot out of each other right now. It's a violent series, to say the least. Not, and Trouba's hit aside, it's been physical and pretty nasty at little bits, which is fun. It's fun. I mean, it's two very good teams, Tom. Two very good teams, two very good goaltenders. Both have solid defense as well. It's like they're kind of similar in styles. I'd say with Adam Fox, New York, maybe a little bit more on the offensive side from the blue line. That being said, you have some of that too coming from Florida. I would say it's a fairly evenly matched series and a pretty fun one. So it's been high paced, high energy, high octane, and high emotion, which is great. Makes for good hockey. So it's been fun.
I've enjoyed it thoroughly, and big goal in OT last night. Wenberg with the redirection from the point shot. Cass, how much of an emphasis for the Oilers tonight, simplifying, taking opportunities to shoot pucks at the net, trying to crash and burn, and make things difficult for Jake Ottinger, as opposed to looking for the pass to make it the tic-tac-toe play into the net?
Yeah, worry less about the shin pads, or if you need to move in half inch, 2 inches to change the angle, move in half inch, 2 inches to change the angle to get a shot through. You can't hold on to the puck too long if you are going to shoot it. The second that you do, someone's in the lane and they're taking away your time and space. Dallas does a very good job of that. So I think there will be an emphasis today. I am assuming we will see a continuation of having more pucks go to the net. And hopefully that means there's going to be a couple that bounce in.
Could happen. One last one here for you, Cass, just as we get set to wrap up. Game Changers, a text came in and said, bunch of Dallas fans on Reddit donated to the Stelter Foundation after the La Bamba mix-up. A very classy move. So there you go, Cass. From a mix-up to something positive coming out of that, right?
Yeah. And again, just if you're still feeling upset about it, just forget about it. Unless one of the Edmonton Oilers, the actual players, are listening, in which case it's the worst thing ever. They meant to do it. They're trying to make fun of you and go stick it to them. But for everybody else, just let it go. Go full frozen on this bad boy. Yeah.
Serenity now, insanity later, Cass. Something like that. Fantastic stuff. As always, my friend, I will catch up with you on the post-game show.
Absolutely, buddy. Thanks a bunch.
That is Matt Cassian, our game analyst with Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting. Remax Elite, if you're looking to get into the market, maybe buy a home, sell your home, contact Damon Bunting, Damon Bunting Real Estate on Instagram, and DamonBunting.com is his website. An absolute gem of a human being, and we are so happy to have him as a presenting sponsor on our station, as well as the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game show. All right, I have time for a few more texts, so we'll go inside the Hall of Fame room and hear from Pete DeBoer, unless, Trev, we don't have that. I'm pretty sure we have that, right, buddy?
Yes, we do have that.
Okay, fantastic. Let's rattle off some texts. 780-218-9999. Tom Gazzola, live on location, Hudson's White Avenue. It is picking up around here. Good vibes. It's warm. Both patios are open. The bay doors are open. It's phenomenal down here. And then YouTube Trev holding things down back at EST HQ. Let's go to this one. Says, wait. Donation from Dallas sources have exceeded 10K? Wow. That's Mike in Thunder Bay. Dude, that is huge. If I haven't seen that, but that's what Mike in Thunder Bay is saying. That is phenomenal. And Mike in Thunder Bay also adds, I don't see any other changes that need to be made. Henrique will be an upgrade on McLeod. Perhaps Ryan may come out from McLeod in Game 4. What about Broberg? Kidding. Mike in Thunder Bay. Well played, Mike in Thunder Bay. Thank you for the update on that. If it is over 10 grand now, that is absolutely amazing. This one says, jumped on a plane to be in the house for the game. Go Oilers. That one from Kelowna. I love it. That's Side Hustle Cole. And then Scalding Gourd says, so since you are filtering some libations, I'm thirsty. Scalding Gourd, yes. If you're down here for the post game, I might purchase you a 6 o'clocker lager or a shot of Birdie Booze, which is available here at Hudson's on White. Big thank you to GM Connor Y for making that happen. He's an absolute beauty. Big Uke texting in says, Oilers, big guys have been real good bouncing back after a loss. I expect Rogers to be absolutely rocking and the boys will be flying. It is going to be electric, no doubt. Thank you, Big U. Good to hear from you, pal. Hope you're doing well. Oh, Mike at Thunder Bay says that comes in from Courtney Terrio, my former colleague at New Cap News in Lloydminster, CKSA, CITL. So Terrio over at 630 Chad, making the move from City, doing a great job. He's also doing some elk stuff this year, but I highly recommend that you tune in to the Green and Gold kickoff and post-game show with Matthew Iwanek and glue guy Jay Milne. This season, the boys are ready to rock. It's going to be a great year of Elks football, but we have some Oilers hockey to attend to first, and maybe there might be some crossover because there is supposed to be a Stanley Cup final game on June 8th. There's also the first game of the regular season for the Elks on the 8th. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, maybe, you never know. It's going to be, could be, will be a busy day in the world of sports. All right. Let's see. I'm always scared to look at the nasty chat, Trev. I'm always a little bit scared.
I don't blame you, but Deputy.
What do we got?
Deputy or Marshal Trev's been on the lookout all show today, Tommy. There's nothing to be concerned about, and everything's looking good. Yeah, I
love it.
No complaints today. I don't mind it.
All right.
I don't mind it. Makes my job easier.
Phoenix Rising says, do the players nap before games? Yeah, generally they do. Sometimes they can't. Some guys get too riled up and can't sleep, and they can't get their nerves to go away. So most of them do, though. That does occur across the board generally. All right, Trev, take us into our next bit of audio and video to get to, if you don't mind, sir.
Of course. Let's hear from the other side. Let's go to the Dallas Stars head coach, Pete DeBoer.
This is in tonight.
Game time decision.
How, with him out of the lineup, how does that affect Jason Robertson? Obviously, he hasn't scored in 10 games. He's getting his points, but he hasn't scored any goals.
Yeah.
Do you kind of need hints to maybe get Jason going a little bit?
You know what? I don't know. I mean, I know he hasn't scored in 10 games, but he's a point-a-game player in the NHL playoffs. Like it's still, you're still contributing. He doesn't, he's going. He doesn't need to get going. I think any coach in the league would take a point-a-game guy this time of year, especially with the trail of teams we've had to go through and how tough defensively Vegas was in Colorado. So, he hasn't scored, but he doesn't need to get going. But Rupe helps everybody. He helps anybody he's playing with and any special team he's on.
Back right, Josh.
Yeah.
Pete, I'm just wondering what you like about how your team has defended McDavid and Draisaitl at 5-on-5. They obviously got their goals in game one, but what have you liked overall and through 7 periods?
Yeah. I mean, you know what? For me, I still think we can do a better job. So, we can have more detail in our game. I thought, even though we held them off the score sheet in game 2, I didn't think we had as good a detail in our defensive game as we could have. They got too many looks for me. So, it's still a work in progress.
Front left, Mike.
Hey, Pete. What did you learn in your time in the bubble here, and have you heard stories from, obviously it was really big to the Stars locker room. I don't know if you guys talk about it, that you're back here in this building,
Yeah.
if people have stories.
Well, a little PTSD walking in here every time. You know what? It was a great experience. It was an experience I would never sign up to do again, but it was a great experience. I mean, the city of Edmonton, the hotel, the rink, everybody bent over backwards, but it was a social experiment. We were essentially locked up for 60 days, and we lost in the conference final. There was 2 teams that played longer than us, so. Yeah, it was. I wish, in hindsight, I would have taken notes. I think I could have written a pretty good book about the experience, because hopefully that never happens again, and no one will have to experience that again. But it was interesting.
Stay in that front left row.
Chris Tanev, when he arrived, what did he do instantly, or did it take a little while for him to have an impact on this team?
Yeah. Well, instantly, leadership, defending, warrior mentality, that kind of bleeds through your dressing room, especially with your young guys when they see a guy like that. It took him a little time, system-wise, to play the way, to get adjusted to how we wanted to play compared to how Calgary was playing when he left there. But smart guy. Didn't take him long.
Stay in that front row left.
Yeah, if I could just follow up. It seems like everybody talks about so many of your other defensemen. Nobody talks about Esa Lindell, but it seems to me is he not your chief shutdown guy right there with Chris?
Yeah, right there with Chris. I think I mentioned that, maybe in a scrum after one of the press conferences, but you're right. No one's talking about him, and they should be. And, this isn't the first time he's done it. He did it last year in the playoffs, too, for us on a deep run, and I think prior to me getting there. He's a horse, and he thrives this time of year, and he thrives in those situations, and he's hard to play against. Really under the radar, quiet, important piece for us.
Second row right, David.
Hey, David.
Hey, Peter. Best road record during the regular season, and you've continued in the playoffs 5-1. Any explanation why the team just seems maybe even just more calm playing on the road?
Yeah. I don't know. I've been asked that before. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. I think our game translates well on the road. I think we've got a veteran team that isn't intimidated by, visiting rinks or the atmosphere or the situation. I think there's a calmness to our leadership group, which kind of bleeds into the rest of the group. And, I think there's a natural reaction for everybody at home to try and put on a little bit more of a show, offensively. And sometimes that works and sometimes that can backfire against you on the road. I don't think you have that pressure or as much pressure to do that. It's just about winning.
We'll take two more. Second row on the left.
All right, we will not take two more for our Pete DeBoer, and certainly the Oilers faithful will try to make it somewhat intimidating for a Dallas Stars club that is used to high-energy, tough buildings to play in, and they've done it in the postseason. Of course, they had a Stanley Cup final run in the bubble here in Edmonton. It didn't work out for them, but the PTSD line, that was kind of funny. Talking to Jackie Redmond about it, too. She had a better experience, certainly. We got to go and hang out a lot. Us, with Irf Gaffar, Dennis Bernstein, Dave Pagnotta, and we had a lot of fun during the bubble time because we weren't literally in the bubble like the players and teams were and all the staffs. But, that was a different time indeed. All right, Corey B just got here. Attaboy, Corey B. Hello, sir. A bunch of nasties are here, which is great to see. And we're live on location, Hudson's White Avenue, as we get set for the Oilers and the Stars. Game number 3, update, Roope Hintz taking warm-up for the Stars. Roope Hintz is taking warm-up. No word yet on if he is going to play or not, or line rushes. If that changes, I will pass that along your way. I'm trying to reload, and we'll see if he is indeed good to go. YouTube Trev, what if he gets in? Are you worried? Do you think he's going to be a big-time difference maker? 2 goals, 4 assists for Roope Hintz this postseason. -1 through 11 games. Has missed 4 thus far in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, he's a solid player, Tommy. He's right up there with the best of the best. And I still think he's had really good seasons, and I still think there's a lot more to give for him as far as points go. He skates like the wind. He's probably in the upper echelon of skaters in the NHL. He's got a sneaky good shot. He's got really, really good hands as well. So, Roope Hintz is an absolute stud. I love watching him. I know he's been, as far as speeding or his top speed, it's up there with some of the best players in the league. So yeah, he's a great player. And you hear what he did with Jason Robertson. Credit to his career year last year when Jason Robertson got 100 points. Roope Hintz was a huge factor as to why he did that. So this is a great player. If you're a Stars fan, you want him in immediately, right? But there is that line. Obviously, you want him to be healthy as well. But yeah, an absolute stud. He's a terrific player, Tommy.
Absolutely. So he is taking warm up. Roope Hintz is. We'll see if he is indeed good to go. Adam Henrique in for Ryan McLeod tonight. Oilers and Stars. Text us 780-218-9999 and get into the nasty chat. Trev, I'm going to hand off the show to you in a couple of minutes, but before I do that, I'm going to get some stats provided by the lovely folks at the National Hockey League. Here's one for you. We got an Oilers one and a Stars one as we wind. I wind things down, and Trev takes over to bring it all home. Don't crash and burn it. I'm just kidding, Trev. You've been doing great. You're doing good work, Trev. Let's go to this. Draisaitl, says the NHL, who leads the league in scoring during the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs, was held off the score sheet for the first time Saturday, but can extend his postseason opening home point streak to 7 games. Leon with 5 and 7 and 12 points in 6 games played at home. He can become the 9th different player in franchise history to record a run of that length with that group, including Connor McDavid, who did it 8 games in 2022. And then at the other end of the rink, Jake Ottinger for the Dallas Stars has a 1-3 record through 6 career playoff appearances in Alberta, but has a 1.24 goals against average, .963 save percentage, and 1 shutout in those contests. His total includes 2 relief appearances in the neutral site bubble at Rogers Place in 2020, the Stanley Cup playoffs here, and a historic 64 save performance at Scotiabank Saddledome during Game 7 of the 2022 first round. You'll recall the Stars lost that one to the Calgary Flames, and then the Oilers would subsequently defeat the Flames in 5, 4-1, and that was the end of the Johnny Gaudreau and Tkachuk era in Calgary. So, yeah, interesting, and Jake Ottinger continues to get better and better and better. And the Oilers are hoping Stu Skeeter continue to improve his game. He has the last couple. We'll see if that is a trend that does slide into game number 3. All right, YouTube Trev, you ready for this, pal? I would hope that, yes, you are. There you are. Get those headphones on. That's going to do it for me, live on location at Hudson's White Avenue. People are getting set for this one. The patio patio kind of cleared out, actually. So patios are open. The big bay doors and big bay windows are also open. A bunch of the nasties are here. Shout out to Jason and Leduc, Corey B, VR Montenegro, Cal in the park, and Sarah for coming out. Absolutely tremendous. Appreciate them. I will see them in the 3rd period. I am off to Rogers Place. Without further ado, YouTube Trev, take it away, my friend. Bring this bad boy home. Ciao.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Ciao, Tommy. Thank you for that. Safe travels on to your way to Rogers Place. What is up, guys? You are tuning in to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. My name is YouTube Trev. Thanks for sticking along. I know some of you probably, as soon as Tommy goes, you're like, okay, who's this guy? Well, I'm YouTube Trev, and I'm going to finish things off here. And yeah, I'd love for you to stay. I was just looking at the nasty chat. We're at 73 likes, so let's see if we can get this bad boy to 100 likes. I would genuinely really appreciate that. That would be awesome. So to get things started here, as what I usually do, I like to create a poll, because why not? Would you like to see Sam Gagner and the Oilers lineup either sometime at some point? I feel like I know the answer, but I'm just curious to see how many people, I guess, say no if that is the case. So I'm going to start that poll. I was thinking all day, I'm like, what's a question I can ask? And that's kind of the best that I came up with today, guys. So yeah, we're going to bring our own YTT. Yeah, appreciate the love, guys. That's awesome. We'll get to some of your comments. We'll get to the nasty chat as well. We'll look at the lineup to finish things off at the show. And we do have a few more players that I'd like to hear from. And you know what? That's a good segue. Let's go to the player who will be making his debut in this series tonight. His name is Adam Henrique, and here he is.
You know, certainly looking forward to getting back in the lineup. You know, and then just wanting to be able to try and be a difference maker for the team.
What do you look at when you come in to kind of like jumping on a speeding train to pace the playoffs? What do you need to do early in that game to feel comfortable?
You know, I think just those first few shifts, you want to just kind of get back into the rhythm, the flow of the game. You know, you come out, play a simple, hard game, just get involved right away. And then I think that from there you just settle in. You know, it's like riding a bike. Just get back on there and go. So been looking forward to getting back in the lineup for a little bit.
Adam, can you take us through the mental hurdles you've had to endure throughout this injury process? Of course, you tried getting in the second round series, didn't really work out. Maybe just take us through that and what you've kind of learned about yourself.
Yeah, it's you know, I guess it was just a day-to-day kind of thing, you know, mentally too. I think mentally probably harder than physically with certain things, and just not being able to be out there to help. It's more nerve-wracking watching than playing, and certainly learned a lot about that. So, but watching the guys, seeing everybody kind of come together and push through and battle, it was certainly great to watch and see the team continue to get better. You're just itching to be a part of that. So it's nice to finally be here.
Adam, for someone to go in, somebody has to come out. What do you say to a teammate like Ryan, who's maybe had some struggles, but?
Well, I think this time of year, it's the big picture thing everybody looks at, and I think everybody understands that. Everybody goes through ups and downs, and you just have to, I think, have that big picture mentality, and everybody's going to be called upon at some time or the other, and everybody expects the other guy to be able to step up, and whoever's in or out of the lineup, I think we have all the confidence in every single guy here.
You look at the third line we're going to be on, just the need to kind of generate some offense from that line. It's kind of, regardless of who's played there, it's been the one line that hasn't been able to find some consistency. How do you help that out?
Well, yeah, my game, it doesn't really change. It stays the same where playing third line or up or center or wing or whatever it may be. So, hopefully we can just have some chemistry right off the bat. I think for us as a group or as a line, play a hard, simple game. Get up and down the ice, try to use our speed and use what we have to be effective and to try and be difference makers.
Adam, what have you liked from your group so far in this series and your ability to defend specifically?
Yeah, I think everybody's been involved. It's been a team effort. Seeing the guys stick together that first game and go through overtime and find a way to come out there with that one. Dallas is a great team. They had the pushback in game 2, but I think as a group, our game's where we want it to be, and we just have to continue to find ways to find wins.
Can you get a sense for the feel and the rhythm of a series from the outside, or do you have to go through your own feeling out process tonight?
I think a bit of both. I think jumping in the lineup, you'd find your own way and find where you can have a difference and be a difference maker. I think watching up top, it is a different point of view, I guess. Things tend to slow down up top, and you can see a lot of things and see a lot of plays. But Dallas defends well. They've been that type of team all year, so it's it's certainly nerve-wracking watching, and it's going to be nice to be back on the ice.
That was Adam Henrique, who will be making his debut tonight against the Stars. He did play earlier on in the playoffs, but this is the first time he will be making an appearance in this series. So it'll be interesting to see, because I think his last game was Game 5, I believe, of the Canucks series, and wasn't much of didn't notice him a heck of a whole lot. So I'm pretty sure he was on the wing that game, but he's centering this Fogle line and Derek Ryan on the right tonight. So he should be a lot more noticeable tonight. I'm looking forward to see what he has, and he was still banged up, albeit when he did make that, make the game that night. So he's 100%, and obviously Chris Noblock decided he was good. He's in, and I'm looking forward to see what he does. Here's hoping he does do something. That would be nice. Okay, let's take a quick look at the Nasty Chat. Would you like to see Sam Gagner in the Oilers lineup? That's what I came up with. I'm sorry, it's not the most creative question, but I wanted to put something out there, and the consensus is yes. 67% of you say yes, 33% of you say no. Just looking at a lot of the chats, that's a fat yes from Mr. Thermistor. Obviously, he's too small. Don't know. How old is he now? Yeah, he's up there. He's close to 40, I believe, which obviously is still pretty young, but for a hockey player, that's you're getting up there. So. Personally, I think he does provide kind of exactly what Derek Ryan provides. He's a little bit more creative. I like his shot a little bit more. I think he's a little bit more physical, but not as versatile, and I think that's kind of why Derek Ryan is in. But wouldn't that be nice? And I don't want to bore you guys because we've kind of talked about this for a while now, but Sam Gagner, when I was growing up, Sam Gagner was probably my favorite or second favorite player. I remember when who was it? They ultimately came up with Andrew Ferentz to be the captain, but I was like totally like, no, Sam Gagner's got to be the captain. He's got to be the guy. And he's put together a heck of a career wherever he's gone. He's always he's fitted in. He's kind of like a David Perron, maybe not that offensive, but he's fit in like a glove. So he's going to finish his career here in Edmonton. I'm fascinated to see what the future holds for Sam Gagner. But to get him just one game, the team that drafted him, it would just be, the final piece, the missing piece. I'd just love to see it. And, it is a good story. Also, the important thing, I still do think he could contribute. A lot of people are saying he is very slow. I don't think Derek Ryan's the quickest guy either. Corey Perry obviously isn't the fastest guy either, and he was in the lineup. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know. Okay, let's take a quick look at the text line here. As always, you can text us 780-218-9999. That never gets old. I love doing that. And if you're listening on iHeart or TuneIn or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, we really appreciate it. The last time that Tommy gave me the show to finish off, I played it back because obviously I want to see what I did do, what I liked, and what I didn't do, and what I hated. And I said iTunes. You can tune in at iTunes. So no, that's wrong. Don't listen to me there. But you can listen to us on TuneIn, which we really, really appreciate. People are saying, YTT, he's not 40, bro. You're fired. Well, I said he's high 30s. Is he not? Is he not? 34 is nowhere near. Okay, well, he's 34. Okay, well, I am wrong. Sorry. I apologize, but I appreciate you guys correcting me there. Let's see what we got here. Of course, we've got Deaky Parks, of course. Well job, buddy. Like when you chime in, keep up the good work. Oh, yeah, he's giving me huge props. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. And we also got Big Uke, who's just a very loyal nasty. Dallas fans donating is amazing. Vancouver fans would never do that. I think that is fair to say, Big Uke. You absolute beauty. Okay, guys, let's go back to the locker room one more time. I wouldn't mind hearing from... well, this is a tricky one. Do we hear from the Oilers or... You know what? Yeah, let's hear from Connor McDavid and Matthias Ekholm ahead of tonight's Game 3 matchup.
You gave a great quote before the playoffs about winning games that maybe you shouldn't win. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on winning games that are incredibly tense and incredibly tight and tight going to the third period and overtime like we've seen you guys play a lot of.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I don't think we've had to do that so much this playoffs. There's been the odd game where maybe we haven't deserved a win, but most of them I think we have. And yeah, it's obviously that's the playoffs for you. Usually it's going to be tight going in to a third period, and you just got to dig that one goal out. Unfortunately, Dallas did it in Game 2, so it's up to us to respond, and it's up to us to make sure we end up on the right side here in Game 3.
Third row on the right, Tony.
Morning, Connor. We believe that Adam Henrique will be back into the lineup tonight. Since he was acquired 2.5 months ago, what are some of the areas of the game that he touches that has helped his team the most?
Yeah, he touches a lot of aspects of our game. Penalty kill, obviously even strength, face-offs, he helps a lot. Definitely somebody that we've missed. Well.
Matthias, leading up to today, when it comes to your group, what are some of the lessons throughout the course of the season that's allowed you guys to practice discipline on defense so effectively so far in this series?
I think the whole mindset of not getting too high, not getting too low with it. I think sometimes it's like you can play perfect defense, but there's such a skilled players in the playoffs. Sometimes you just can't defend, but it's all about the response, and you can't let it just sit and think about it too much. I feel like we've done a good job of turning pages where it comes to in games or between games or whatever it is. You're going to get scored on in the playoffs. That's just a fact, but it's all about how you respond to it and how you adjust to it, not wavering too much from your plan, and I think that's something that we've done a decent job of so far.
Second row on the left.
Connor, in Game 2, they made an adjustment. They put Heiskanen and Lindell together against you a lot more. Now you're at home. Have you noticed when you're on home ice, does Chris, not that he chased or you're trying to shelter you by any stretch, but every team's looking for a slight advantage in a matchup. Do you notice that in game when there's maybe a better matchup that's favorable for you, and do you see it more at home?
It's a team like Dallas. I mean, what matchup are you really looking for? They got 4 lines that can play. They got 6 D-men that can play. What matchup are you really looking for? So I think icings every now and then we get an extra shift maybe offensively. But yeah, I don't think that we're matchup chasing.
Center left, Ryan.
Connor, maybe a big jump in the last game of getting sticks in lanes and blocking shots and those sorts of things. What adjustments can you make in those sort of shooting moments to try and find that extra space to get through?
Yeah, I mean, just being a little bit cleaner with the puck. There was definitely opportunities to make plays or whatever, and they got their stick in the way or shooting lanes, whatever. I mean, they block a lot of shots as well. So maybe a little extra move or something here and there, but I think just being cleaner with the puck overall is a focus.
Center right, Josh.
Matthias, I'm just wondering how the challenge that the Stars forwards present, the way they blow the zone sometimes, and how cognizant you guys have to be on the back end, and how that might affect, your ability to go forward at different times as a defenseman.
Yeah, it's a bit different from the teams we've seen, but on the flip side of it too, sometimes those rims doesn't get out, and if you can just read that a little bit, you can cut your out short. And I mean, I almost had a goal in game one. I hit the crossbar with it when that was the exact play they're trying to blow out, and Evan knocked it down, and then we can turn and go the other way. So it works both ways. It's obviously when the rims are clean every time, it's a little bit annoying. You have to go back all the time, but at the same time, when you can read those plays and you can read a bobbled puck, or if some of the D-men that actually are rimming it are in a position to maybe not get forward on it, you can try to look to beat your guy, and it could be a pretty good gap to your forward. He can be blowing it and be in our blue line, and I can be up the ice instead. So it goes both ways. I mean, I don't think there's any system that's perfect or any move that's perfect out there. So I get what they're trying to do, but you also got to try to read through it.
We'll take one more second.
Awesome. No, we will not take one more. This is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. I am your, co-host right now. YouTube Trev, how's it going, everyone? The vibes are great. Everyone seems to be having a grand old time in the nasty chat. You can text us anytime, 780-218-218-9999. I think the biggest takeaway from those guys is those beards. They're coming in quick. I didn't know Connor could grow a beard that quick. I was going to mention it after Adam Henrique, and I forgot. Matthias Ekholm, obviously, probably one of the best beards in the NHL. And just a quick question to you, Nasties. Am I the only one that is kind of growing? I've done this. Obviously, I waited 10 years after cheering for the Oilers to finally watch a playoff game, and I'm like, okay, it's playoff tradition. I want to kind of be in on this tradition, even though I'm not on the team, never will be, but I still think it's fun. I was like, so it's just something I've always done. I'm curious to know, am I the only one that's doing this? I know I am the only one that's doing this here in the studios, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that, guys. But yeah, definitely chime in. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Also, I know there was a topic of discussion earlier in the Nasty Chat, and I want to see where you guys come out on with Ryan McLeod. I think it was Russell who said he has the potential, it's just not there yet. I finished the post game with my thoughts on Ryan McLeod, saying the exact same thing. I do think he has the potential, and I think it was Chief Andy that came at me and said, "What are you talking about? He has done nothing." As far as his postseason appearances, the only memory I really have with Ryan McLeod is actually in Game 3 of the Western Conference Final 2 years back. He scored a really nice goal. I think it was a tying goal against the Colorado Avalanche, and it was late in the third period, and that's kind of all I got. And you see it. You see glimpses of it, and I really think this guy is a player that he has all the tools in the world to make it work. He's an NHL player. He is. You can tell. You ask Cass that, he's going to tell you the same thing. It's just, it's not quite, he hasn't quite put it all together. He's going to go down to the minors. If he did, he'd put up great numbers, and it's something about that jump to the NHL, that next step. And I see it. You see it with his speed and in glimpses. He's kind of like Evander Kane in that sense, where he kind of scores just in bunches, and then he'll disappear it'll just taper off. The offense will taper off quite a bit. So what are your guys' thoughts on Ryan McLeod? I want to hear that. Obviously, I think it's good. It's good for him to, take a step back and watch a game. You can learn a lot from that. But it's just, I think he's this close. And coming into the playoffs, it was Warren Foegele and Ryan McLeod. Those were the two players I was like, no, these are kind of going to be the Fernando Pisanis this year. I think they have the potential. They have the skill. It's just it's not quite worked out yet. But, we're about 3 minutes away here, guys. Just want to finish up with some final thoughts. Let's see. Okay, Chief Andy could even grow a beard 10 years ago. YTT, LOL. Yep. Genitals, we grow it where we can. Trev, you should see my pitch right now. That's really good. Box Pounder, as always, an absolute beauty. Damn fine show, Trev. Your beard is fine. My playoff beard makes me look homeless. I wouldn't say that. You guys are absolute beauties. Okay, take a look at the text line one more time. Let's see what it says here. We got RBN. I replied to his text. He says, "This is a great answer. YTT, you're a great answer. You beauty, you." Oh, wow. Appreciate the kind words, man. We got a no-name text coming from. It's a 403, so that's familiar. That's back home, I think. Everyone sub to EST. Everyone sub to EST and above average on YouTube. Wow. That is amazing. That's pretty cool. That's interesting. Yeah, that's my YouTube channel is above average. That's how the boys discovered me. Above average, yeah, if you want to go check it out. I do educational hockey videos on the Oilers, primarily the Oilers, but I dabble with the Flames, kind of whatever the biggest topics are. But let's finish with this. Easy, please tell me I didn't just hear you compare McLeod to Kane, LOL, YTT. No. Okay, I'll clarify on that. I say he scores in bunches, or I said he scores in bunches. That's kind of what Evander Kane does. I know he's like right up there. I don't know the stat off by heart, but I know it came out this year. He was like the fastest to like 6 or however many hat tricks that he has. He was like the second fastest Oiler to get there. And then Evander Kane, obviously, he went drought. He didn't score in like 20 games, biggest drought of his NHL career. So yeah, no, I'm saying that he scores in bunches. Ryan McLeod, he obviously went on that tear in late December, early January, where he was doing really good. He was kind of a point per game player at that time. And then you didn't really see any of them, kind of like what we're seeing right now. Hey, YouTube Trev, do you think the fan? Yeah. That's not going to read that one. Okay, Joel. Good job, YTT. Go Oil. Okay, that's awesome. So that's it for the chats, the texts. I'm going to finish with these. Little game changers. They got to watch the turnovers tonight. You look at Kulak on game 1, Bouchard, obviously, in the last series, Foegele with the bad turnover. These are great teams. You can't be making these mistakes. In the Western Conference Final, the Dallas Stars are absolutely going to capitalize on that. They have so many guys that can capitalize on that. So let's clean it up for the Oilers. That's one thing that I'd like to see them do. The starts have been good, which hasn't been a problem, but they need to make sure to capitalize on those starts because, if the Oilers went up 3-1, but they outscored the Stars or they outshot the Stars by quite a bit. So you just capitalize on your chances, and then finally, just enough with the fancy stuff. We talked about that. They were way too fancy in the last game, so that was the general consensus we were talking about. Just clean it up. It's okay to get those greasy goals. But guys, that is sorry I was rambling on a little bit there, but if you're still here, thank you for tuning in to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Really, really appreciate it. I guess it's time now to cue the music. The Edmonton Oilers. Oh, man. Okay, I'm getting fired up now. I really am. This is going to be a good one, guys. I cannot wait to hear the Oilers crowd. The Dallas Stars, they showed up, but it's the last Canadian team in the NHL. I think the Oilers fans, just from hearing the crowd in the Rangers series, it's not that loud. Not that loud at all. So the Oilers fans, they're going to bring it tonight. Will the Oilers bring it? I'm thinking it's going to be a little higher scoring game. Draisaitl, McDavid held off the score sheet last game. Don't think that's going to happen again. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is an absolute treat. I thoroughly enjoy doing this. It's awesome, and it's all because of you guys. So, with that being said, from Tom Gazzola, Matt Cassian, I am YouTube Trev. Thanks for tuning in to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. We will see you in T-minus 3 hours. Let's go Oil. Let's have a good game. We'll see you then. Ciao, guys.